So, Hannah, you did a project with 3rd through 5th grade girls. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I started the club in February. We met every Monday after school.
And this is an engineering club,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
There were 12 girls. There were probably 6 from 4th grade and the other kind of equally split from 3rd through 5th. And we basically did a bunch of like small engineering projects. Our first one was to like design a maze for little hex bugs, which are little like vibrating bugs that kind of go wherever they're allowed to go. So they made a maze with like curves and hills and stuff that the bug had to complete like the fastest. That's
Wow.
what team would win. Yeah, it was really fun. So we did projects just like that.
Where'd you get this idea? What was the genesis?
I don't really know. So I'm the captain of the robotics team,
Right.
as you've probably seen previous videos. And I realized that there are not a lot of girls in robotics, which has always kind of been something I've realized, but I didn't really take it to heart until this year, just because I realized, well, it's my last year, I might as well try to do something about it. And so I talked with my parents about it a lot, and my mom has done a bunch of kind of engineering things over the summer, and I also worked with a Lego club this summer.
Yep.
So that kind of influenced my idea, just to be able to work with lower school girls especially to get them interested and build their confidence in STEM. So by the time they enter high school, they're ready to go into robotics and they feel confident about it.
That's great. What's something you learned through this project?
I guess the importance of female mentors. Like I said, I've done robotics, and I started my sophomore year, and I was really hesitant to go into it just because I was one of the only girls, and I didn't feel like I was qualified for it. But Heather Wright, who graduated a couple years ago, she was the captain of the team that year, and that really helped me because she was able to work directly with me and influence me. And so I don't think I really understood how impactful that was until I started working on my Capstone Project, because I realized, oh wait, I had a female mentor, which really helped me, and so now I have the opportunity to be one to these little girls, and just how much that worked, because those girls were very eager about robotics. I actually brought them to a tournament, and they were very ecstatic about it. So
That's great. I want it to be exciting for you to come back in a few years and see some of these young women leading in our robotics and engineering programs. It'd be really gratifying. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing this. Thanks for your leadership. Look forward to hearing more about when you give your report. So that's great. All right. Thanks. All right, Kamisi, tell me about your project, and you did it with Hayab, who couldn't be here, so you can cover for both of you.
All right, so basically for my capstone, we're making a reflective rap album about just our experience at Trinity. And yeah, so basically what I do is I make the beats, produce it, and I also rap on it with Hayab. So Hayab creates some of the lyrics, I might rap some of them, or I create my own lyrics, and then basically, yeah, we just record it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I hear that you shared a little bit of this at the dance the other night. Tell us about that?
So basically at the formal, we both performed 2 songs. We dropped 2 singles that was going to be on the upcoming album. And yeah, we just performed it. It was like really fun and it was nice. And I just loved the energy that the crowd had.
That's great.
Yeah.
So tell me about one of the songs or something that you captured.
All right, so one of the songs is called like T Up, and the T stands for Trinity.
That's great.
And so basically in the songs we just reference like a lot of experiences at Trinity. We reference like a lot of teachers and just kind of make metaphors for them and just have fun with it.
That's great.
Yeah.
How did you all talk about the way you all collaborated in creating these songs?
So basically I have to make the beats first, and then once we both hear them, we just brainstorm ideas about what it should be about, and we just create lyrics and basically like what the tone of the song should be and what energy we should bring. So we just bounce ideas off of each other until we both just enjoy like the song, and then that's how it gets created.
What's something you learned in this process?
Patience is a virtue. We basically we both mess up a lot. And so we have to be patient with each other in order to get the song just perfectly right, like how we like it. And so if we're not patient, then we're just gonna bicker at each other and get mad. So yeah.
You think you've gotten more comfortable with failure and learning through failure?
Most definitely. I think just messing up, we just learn from our mistakes and things like that.
That's That's great. Well, thanks for sharing with us about this and sharing your talent, and I know we're all eager to hear the whole album.
Can't wait for you guys to hear it.
It's good. Thanks.
Thank you.
So Liz, thanks for joining me here, and I want to hear about your project, your Capstone Project.
So what I did, I sold calligraphy pieces that I made off of Instagram.
Talk a little bit about the calligraphy pieces. What do they look like, and how did you get into this? How did you get interested in this?
Well, I had two other capstone projects in mind before this final one. I wanted to direct a play, and then I wanted to make some short animation films. But this one I thought was the most doable and the most time managing one, but I was wrong. This actually takes a lot of time and stuff,
right.
And this integrates my creative aspects and film, which I want to go into as well.
Yeah.
I made an Instagram account, and I showcased my calligraphy. I made videos to post, and like some of my customers would be like, I want to order this kind of font from this post, and
Yeah.
can you do that and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. How did you get into calligraphy in the first place?
I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago, I just saw them on Instagram, and I just wanted to try them because they look so pretty, and I just taught myself how to
Taught
do
yourself,
it. Yes,
yeah.
and looked at Pinterest and
Right.
those kinds of sites and stuff.
Well, that in itself is an exercise in how to learn. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
really interesting. So what are some of the things that you did with your calligraphy? I know that you've used it around school here in a number of ways.
Yeah. So the process. So it's like first I have to think about an idea. Sometimes I might sketch them out on a sketchbook, and then I would like put them in on my iPad Pro, and I would sketch them out in the app, and then I would send them to my father who works at Office Depot, and then he would help me print out the cards and stuff. Yes.
That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah. So it's a family project. That's
Yeah,
great.
I guess so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did some cards, some Valentine's cards and Mother's Day
Mother
cards.
Day cards. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Tell me what you've already alluded to this some, but what's something you learned through this process?
I learned how to manage my time. It takes a lot of time because I have to figure out, because sometimes I make custom orders, and I have to figure out when I'm gonna, like how the time span of what I'm gonna make it and how I'm gonna get it to that person in time and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I also learned how to deal with lots of different kind of customers. Some customers are very they don't really care what I make. They just give me some kind of guidelines, and I just make what they want. And sometimes they'll have a specific thing in mind, and I have to try to make something that's what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
It strikes me too that your process is an example of how to choose a capstone project. That's one of the things you learn in this is because students, some people know exactly what they want to do, but then sometimes, and in your case, you had 2 or 3 different things, and you had to choose which one. You don't always know what that's going to involve, right?
No. Yeah.
Some surprises along the way. Well, thanks for sharing with me. So Caroline, tell me more about your project, about your book.
Yes, so I am writing around a 100-page chapter book for lower school girls, kind of like Amber Brown or Judy Moody or Ramona, and they have little illustrations every chapter. And the book itself is about body image, and it has some more subtle hints towards body positivity and acceptance of everyone.
Yeah.
And so my hope is to have it in the lower school library so girls can read it whenever they want.
That's great. How did you come up with this idea?
So I'm really interested in art, and I also, first semester in my C.S. Lewis class, we ended up writing a couple fake chapters of a C.S. Lewis book, like of the Chronicles of Narnia. And I really enjoyed doing that and doing that kind of creative writing aspect. So I decided to make my capstone about going deeper into that.
Yeah. How did you choose a book for lower school girls in particular?
So I ended up talking to a couple of the lower school teachers, especially Miss Hardamink, about kind of what age range would be appropriate to start talking about body image. And it turns out that younger and younger girls are having issues with this. And so I ended up, through a couple of those conversations, picking around 3rd graders who were old enough to understand the book, but could still kind of use their imaginations and have fun with what was in it.
Have you tried any of the book out on actual third graders or younger kids?
So I still have to wait for it to be officially printed and come back.
Yeah.
But once it does that, I will definitely hope to give it to some kids and see.
And how are you publishing and printing it?
So I've written it on just a Google Doc, and then I can send it to a website that will essentially print the book and make it and send it back.
Yeah, that's great. Can you see this as being something that you would take forward into college or career, or what do you think?
Possibly. I think the issue itself is definitely something that I will continue to advocate for and myself think about for the rest of my life. But the writing aspect, maybe not. I think what I've learned from it, having to do with writing about drafting and revising and editing and learning how to use voice, will definitely help me a lot in college and in my future.
Yeah, it sounds like that creative writing piece is something that has been a thread for you, and yeah, that's really great. I would love to see you sitting in the lower school library reading your book to some lower school kids.
So yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll have to get a picture of that. Thanks for sharing with me today.
Yeah, thanks.
So Noah and Brandon, tell me about your project. This has gone on for throughout the year, right?
Is there? Yeah. So we started with our sports media and communication, with like running the Trinity sports Twitter and Instagram in the beginning of the year, doing fall sports like volleyball and cross country and boys soccer. And then Miss Smith, the middle school athletic director at the time, she asked us if we wanted to coach the Navy boys basketball team as also part of our capstone. And we thought that would be a really good opportunity for us, just because we could share our basketball knowledge with them and like help them get to where they want to be, to get to our level in high school.
Yeah, that's great. Brandon, how did you guys pick this project, especially the sports media piece?
We really had no idea what we were going to do at first.
Yeah.
And we got the idea from Pate Dunlap last year.
Yeah.
And we saw him just writing the letters every week for the weekly news and parent news. So we decided that would be a good idea for us, and then ended up being more into the basketball for the middle school team.
Yeah. It's a great service to the whole school. I know I've read those throughout the year to find out what's going on, and so I appreciate all the work y'all put into it. What was it like to write about sports that you didn't play? What was that?
I almost found it it was I wouldn't say it was easier or harder, but it was definitely different. I think during basketball season it was easier to get our information that we needed, but at the same time it was kind of weird to just write about our team and writing about each other. It was just kind of weird. But when it comes to other sports, it was as long as we were able to get the information, which was kind of rocky at the beginning, but so far throughout the year it's gotten better. I think that since then it's been easier, because I feel like we can get more into it when it's not about us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about the coaching? What are some reflections you have on your coaching, what you learned?
One thing about the coaching, it was probably the best part of our capstone. We loved it. The kids loved us. The parents loved us. It was definitely a struggle in the beginning, because you always have those kids that are hard-headed. They don't want to listen. But eventually through the year, we got through to them. They listened to us. We had practice plans. We had game plans. Ended up being a pretty good season. Not too bad for the Navy team, at least. And so it was just a good experience overall for me and Noah as coaches and student athletes.
Yeah, it's great. Did you learn anything about yourselves as athletes by coaching?
For sure. We definitely realized that the other end, from being a coach, because I think this was both of our first time coaching kids, and it's definitely harder than it looks. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that the kids don't know about, which I feel like that's the same way that we don't know about that our coaches do for us, and it's more than just being on the court at the moment with them. It's you have to plan for practice and plan for games, and during games you have to be able to make adjustments that the kids can't see, whether it's because their basketball knowledge is not there because they're younger, or if it's because they can't see because they're just in the midst of the game. So I think that's something that's I've really I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. I hope that somebody will take the baton from you guys, especially on the sports media piece. I think there's been a tradition of Jay Winters and then Pate and now you guys, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know who might take that next, but that would be great to keep that going.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, thanks for sharing with me today.
Thank you.